While gang crime and stabbings with kitchen knives are soaring in the UK, the British government is now looking at bringing in legislation on crossbows for archery and broadhead arrows. Hi folks, Matt Easton here, Schola Gladiatoria, and it seems another week and another example of UK government trying to ban everything under the sun. And you guys are making lots of jokes about when are they going to ban fists, sticks and spoons. Well, at this trajectory, I predict in about 2026. So We've recently seen, the Labour Party claiming that they want to ban all sorts of other swords, other than those which are already prohibited and controlled. So the zombie knife ban doesn't go far enough for them, which is, fine. It's an election year, so they're going to say things, but they're also going to do things as well. And they're planning to ban machetes, which would probably cover lots of short swords. They're also planning to ban ninja swords. Nobody is quite sure what they mean by ninja swords. They certainly don't know what they mean by ninja swords. Let's do a video about ninja swords soon, because that could be an interesting topic. And now the current government are looking at, they have a consultation link below. I'll stick the link down there. Looking at the laws around crossbows. Now, I do know that in some countries crossbows are banned or controlled in various ways, and so the UK government, currently there's no controls on crossbows apart from essentially two things. One, you have to be over 18 to buy or sell one, and two, you can't use them for hunting, but we can't do any kind of bow hunting in the UK because that's been illegal for a long time. So fundamentally, there's almost no controls on crossbows in this country. And in this consultation, the government do admit that they are used in an absolutely tiny number of crimes. Someone a couple of years ago was killed with a crossbow. In fact, when I was a kid, I remember there was a high-profile case where someone was killed by a crossbow. People have also been killed by knitting needles and random object scissors. In fact, lots of people have been killed by scissors. In fact, crossbows are used in a tiny number of crimes, and very few people have been killed with crossbows. So do we need legislation for them? I would argue probably not. But anyway, you check out the consultation below, respond to it as you see fit, but most importantly, spread the word. The more people that see this and know about it, the better, because the government has a long track record, I know through my sword dealing and sword owning hobbies and businesses, that they have a long history of bringing out these consultations, and people don't hear about them until it's too late. So get the word out. But here's the other thing. They're also looking at banning broadhead arrows. Now, it's sort of ironic that yesterday I put a video up with Will Sherman looking at different types of medieval arrowhead. Now, what's really interesting is they're actually proposing to add broadhead arrows to the offensive weapons list, that is essentially prohibited or banned weapons, broadhead arrows. But here's a whole bunch of problems with this. How do you define what a broadhead arrow is? Does that cover a type 16? There are many types of arrowhead, as we've seen. There are, probably hundreds actually, if we look at Japanese and Chinese and African and other types of Asian, Indian and, European and Native American arrowheads. There are hundreds of types of arrowhead. How do you define what is a broadhead arrow? I don't know, and I'm pretty sure the Home Office, being a former employee for the Home Office myself, I'm pretty sure they're going to have a tough time trying to define what a broadhead arrow is. But if looking at past history of their definitions of a curved sword or what traditionally handmade means, probably they won't bother. They'll write something very vague and they'll let the law courts decide, because that seems to be their strategy in the last 20 or so years. So, broadhead, they are proposing certain exemptions. So they are saying, much like with curved swords, they're saying there would be exemptions for historical reenacting, museums, theatre, filmmaking, things like this. So there would be exemptions, so it probably wouldn't affect someone like me. But nevertheless, do we really need to ban broadhead arrows? I mean, seriously? In a country with rampant knife crime, with people stabbing each other with kitchen knives, do we really need to be worrying about an infinitesimal number of crimes and homicides, murders with crossbows or broadhead arrows? This is political gesturing, in my opinion. And I want to finish off this video. This is obviously a very short video for me, but I figure that I probably said everything I need, and this is more about getting the message out as quickly as possible. I am not politically aligned with either of the main two political parties. I understand that my previous video talking about the proposed sword ban may have made it look like I am anti-Labour or anti-something else. Look, the fact is, I've worked under different governments. I've worked under Labour, I've worked under Conservative, I've also worked under a coalition of Conservative and Lib Dems. I have voted for many people in my life, but that's by the by, that's personal. But the fact is that I am not, when it comes to weapons legislation, they are both as bad, okay? We have had as many firearms and sword and other ridiculous weapons legislations under both Conservatives and Labour. They have both done terrible, terrible things to our laws on, cultural activities related to whether it's, swords, fencing, reenactment, archery, shooting in this country. They are both as guilty as of each other. So neither of them, unfortunately, are a friend to me, my businesses, or my hobbies, or my sense of liberty. Anyway, thank you for watching. Get the word out, because obviously there are a lot of archery clubs, a lot of people who own crossbows, a lot of people who are engaged in things like reenactment and forging, making medieval arrow replicas and things like this, who are going to be affected by this. They need to know about this as quickly as possible, and they need to respond to the consultation. Thanks a lot for watching. I have been Matt Easton, and I will be again next time. Cheers, folks.